Hey guys, what's up? It's jjaaxxthelegend here today. I'm here on the Minecraft Redstone tutorial. And in this week's tutorial, I'm going to be showing you guys how to build a bunch of different types of T flip-flops, how they work, and why they are useful. Okay, the first thing I'm going to be showing you is what is a T flip-flop. So let's go do that now. Okay, so if we turn around here and look at the lever, we've got a lever connected up to a simple piston door. Now if I flick this lever, it closes the door. So say this is the inside, and this is the outside. The door is closed from both ways. But if I say want to get in from the inside or get out, I can't flick this lever because that is powering the pistons. So what am I going to do? Maybe I'll just flick it once and realize it's not working, and just kind of leave it there. And that means whoever's on this side also can't get out because that side's powering, so you have to break your blocks. Then you move on to having the idea of using a button. Now with the button, you would have to hook it up to a redstone torch system like this, so the pistons are always powered, and only when you push the button, they get unpowered. But larger piston doors, like spiral doors, or even say a regular 3x3 door, sometimes need a longer current than just a button, because it is pretty short. So that's why we have the T flip-flop. The T flip-flop is a system that holds a redstone current in one position. So this redstone piece is now turned on, you can see by the little particle effects. But when I press this button, it gets turned off. Now this won't reactivate until I press this button again, so no matter how long I wait, these pistons won't push back. I have to press this button again. And then I can do this on both sides. So you have freedom. So if someone wants to get in and the door's closed, you've closed it from the inside, they can. Just like that. Okay, let's get on to building some T flip-flops. Okay, one last thing to say before we get into T flip-flops. I'm going to be building each one of these towards the end of the video. I'm going to show them, and then I'm going to show you how to build them, and how to hook them up to a simple jeb door. I'll also be showing you how to build that. The first T flip-flop system here is the one I used over there. I like to call it the hopper and dropper T flip-flop. Now this can be made in two different ways. It can be made standing up like this, or lying down. They both use the same principles of the hoppers and droppers going around in a circle, using a comparator to detect when there's an item in here. So again, if I power it from this dropper here, diagonal from the hopper, you can see it gets turned on. It gets turned off. Now you can power it from any side, here, here, or here, so that makes it a lot easier when you're doing redstoning. And you can do the same here, so diagonal from this hopper here is where I'd power it. Now, quick note, if you want to make this go any more than one block, you're going to have to add a repeater. So if I break this and grab out some redstone and a repeater, you can see if I keep on going, the redstone dies out right there, so that would not power a redstone lamp. If I want to make it go further, place a repeater, and then I can get all the way over here to power this redstone lamp. So you might want to add a repeater coming straight out of that, or one redstone and then a repeater. So let's move on to the next T flip-flop. This T flip-flop is a simple piston T flip-flop. So when you press this button, the redstone block moves across and powers this, and when you press it again, it moves back to there. Now this, the only downfall of this is that the redstone moves across on the falling edge. So that is when the redstone gets deactivated for the last time. So it gets powered and then deactivated, and it moves across. So this in more complex redstone builds isn't as useful, but in your basic door you can use this. Now we've got a few other variations of this. We have one which is slightly cheaper, but slightly bigger, because you have to dig one block down and place a redstone torch under here. Then when you move this across, and with your regular block here, it will power this piece of redstone, because this torch here is connecting, this block here is connecting the torch to the redstone. And both of these give out full redstone current, so you don't have to put a repeater straight away. But then we also have a design which is on the rising edge, the very first one. So as soon as this one gets powered, it moves straight across. Now this is a bit more useful, but is slightly bigger. So as you can see, it moves straight across. Okay, on to the next one. The next T flip-flop we're looking at is one that relies on the one-tick pulse system, which means when this piston gets a one-tick pulse, it'll quickly extend and retract, leaving this block behind on top of this redstone block. And this piston right here is creating the 1 tick pulse. So it's getting powered, and the block's going through the power, but it's only allowing 1 tick to go through before this one is extending up. And then that moves the block over, and then it can pull it back as well. And then this redstone torch here powers this block, which powers the redstone lamp. Now if you want to power anything other than a redstone lamp, you need to break that redstone lamp, grab a repeater out, make sure it's a repeater, and place it like that. Because otherwise, if you place a piece of redstone there, you can get a clock and it will burn your clock out, or your torch out. So you need to use a repeater there. I'm going to leave it with a redstone lamp. Now you don't have to use this redstone torch under a block system and this sticky piston system. Behind here we've got one where it's using a regular piston with a sand block on top because it's a falling block and it'll just fall down so it doesn't have to be pulled. And we've used a redstone block instead of a torch here. So now this works exactly the same, but it's slightly smaller, but uses slightly more resources because you have a redstone block instead of a redstone torch. So this is one of the most commonly used ones, especially for redstone doors, and really big ones as well. Okay, moving on to the next one, we have a super tiny one. Now with this one, like I said before, with those other ones that used comparators, you have to add a repeater if you want to bring it any further than 1 block. But how this works is this, there's an item in here, right there with some redstone dust. When I press this button, the item only gets a chance to move, just a chance to move across to there. Now this is falling edge, sadly, but it still is very useful for if you need a super small one for a redstone door. Okay, so that one's done because that was a very simple one, so now it's to move on to one using the 1.12's observers. Now observers are some of the most useful blocks by far because you can use them for farms and everything, it's just so useful. But you can even use them for T flip-flops. We've got 2 variations of observer T flip-flops here. One that is sort of like this, it's falling edge like that, and moves that redstone block across using the 1 tick system because this only gives out a 1 tick pulse. So it detects the block, changes the name, detects it again, and gives out a 1 tick pulse. Then here we're using that same sort of mechanic, but it's detecting this piston moving and powering that. Okay, moving on to more of a weird and wacky T flip-flop system, we have this one using a composter. This works because we've got a composter here, full to the top and almost about ready to grab the bone meal out of. So if I click on that, I'm not going to, it'll give me some bone meal. Now this works with a cauldron as well. So if I press this button, you can see my composter gets moved across and it powers it. So it activates on falling edge, then it deactivates on rising edge. Now this is kind of weird, and it might not work in a few more complex redstone builds, but like most of these others, they'll work in your simple piston door or even a spiral door. Okay, moving on to another one that's using a hopper and dropper system. We have this one right here, which is our very last one. So when I press this button, it only gives it a second to move across to this redstone dust here. When I press it again, it moves it back across to that dropper. So now I'm going to be showing you guys how to build each and every one of these T flip-flop systems. Okay, the first thing I'm going to show you how to build is a jeb door. For that, you are going to need 12 pistons, so grab out your pistons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Some redstone, 2 repeaters, and some building blocks. I'm going to be using some concrete. I'm going to be using some light blue concrete. Okay, to build this, we'll just quickly make a phony wall. So we've got our wall here. We've got these 2 blocks here are going to be where our door's going, so we'll break those 2 out. Then place 2 pistons like this on both sides. No, 2 stacks of pistons like this, not 2 pistons. So that's a total of 4 pistons like that. So you can't really see them when you look like that. Then place pistons going towards the wall like that on top of these ones here, and place your wall block in between them. Then place some concrete blocks on top of all of these pistons like that, and place a repeater right before this turn here on that side and on this side, pointing towards it, not away. Place redstone on all of those and put those repeaters on 2 ticks delay. So that's a 1 right click. So now, just to test it, we're going to grab out a lever, then flick this on, and you can see my pistons fully extend, and then they retract. Now, I loved using this door just as a go-to door because you could easily hide the redstone because the pistons actually push it out. So if I just have a mountain here, and my pistons are extended by maybe a T-flip-flop, or we'll just use a lever, you can't see any redstoning at all. So that's why I love using this jet door. But for the purposes of this video, I'm going to remove all of this mounted and just keep the door there so we can clearly see what we're doing. Okay, for both of these systems, you're going to need 3 droppers, 1 hopper, 1 comparator, a redstone lamp, that's just for me to test that it's working to see that the redstone current is coming out, a button of some sort, some repeaters if you're taking this for a long way, and an item to throw in there. So I'm just going to be using some redstone dust. You'll also need some redstone if you're taking this a while away. Place the dropper going straight into the air, like that. Then place a dropper on top of that, going to one of the sides, doesn't matter. Then place a dropper, diagonally one down, going back into that bottom dropper there. Then place a hopper here, so some arrows will appear on your screen now. Okay, then drop an item into this hopper right here, so I just need to duplicate this so I don't lose all of my redstoning. Drop 1 item into that hopper, and it should go straight into this dropper here. Now this is where your comparator comes out of. It can come out of any side, and you can rotate this around so it's facing the other way if you want. So the hopper's on that side. So now I'm going to place my comparator there, a piece of redstone and some repeaters, and then more redstone leading to a redstone lamp, just like that. Then on the opposite, the one next to this dropper here, or the one diagonal from this hopper, place your button or your power source. So my power source is going to be from a button that's a bit further away. So I'm going to turn my light off. I have a repeater going into this dropper here, some redstone. Press this button, you can see my light turns off. Press it again, and it will turn back on. Let's build the next one. For the next one, you're going to need the same materials. But what you want to do is place a dropper facing towards you, and place a dropper next to that, going into nothing, just like that. Then place a dropper here, going into that dropper there, going into your very first dropper. So you got bang, so this dropper's going into that one's going into nothing, then this one's going back into there. So now place a hopper, going into this dropper here, so it goes in a full circle. Some arrows will appear on your screen now. So here to here, then here to here, then here to here, just like that. Then place, throw an item in here, and then the hopper, the dropper the hopper is going into, place your comparator on that one, just like that. Then a repeater, or then a redstone, and then a repeater, and then a redstone lamp. And then the one diagonal from that hopper there, so this one right here, you want to place your button on or connect your system to using some redstone repeaters or something like that. So now I want to turn this light off, but I've got this one. Press this button, you can see my light turns off. I'm only going to be hooking up one of these to the door, not both of these, because they're 2 different variations of the same build. Just one of them to the jeb door. So, but it's pretty simple. You just have to hook this up, this redstone here, or the redstone coming out of that, to the redstone of your door. So let's go do that now. Okay, to hook it up to your door, you want to grab out the 3 droppers, 1 hopper, 1 comparator, 2 redstone torches to get the redstone up to the place up here, a button of some sort, or you can use a pressure plate if you want, because the T-flip-flops work for that as well. 1 redstone repeater, some redstone dust, some blocks to throw into that, and some building blocks. Okay, to start, make sure that your door is deactivated like this, and then come 2 blocks out from these 2 blocks here that have been retracted into the pistons, then go 1 to the side so you're in the 2 middle blocks, and those 2 middle blocks dig 6 along across like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, make sure that is 2 wide and 2 blocks deep. Then, if we face from the front, going to the right side, build another 2x2, dig out another 2x2 hole that is 2 blocks deep. So from the sky, your thing should look like this. So it's kind of like an L shape that has a blue line going through the middle, or a line going through the middle. If you walk through it, you should just have this L shape like that. To start, grab out your 3 droppers and place one here, so it's right before this corner here, and directly under your building blocks, like that. Going into another dropper which is turning that way. Well, from the front it's turning left. And then make that dropper go into another dropper which is coming towards the back of your whole system. And this dropper here will go into a hopper, which is then going into this dropper. So place that hopper going into that dropper. And place a redstone comparator coming out of that dropper here, which is the one the hopper is going into. And place a piece of redstone there, going to your right. Place a repeater going into a block with a redstone torch on it. Then place another block with a redstone torch on it, and one more block, but don't place a redstone torch on that one. And then connect it to the middle of this gem door, so do not connect it to this end here, like that. Do not do that, because that means your door won't activate. You have to connect it to the middle, like this. So now it's time to power this T flip-flop system. So to do that, place a redstone repeater going into the dropper diagonal from the hopper. Then place 2 pieces of redstone dust behind that, like this. And then grab out your floor block, so let me just put this away, and place them on top of that redstone. So now whenever either one of these can be my buttons. Okay, so we can now power these droppers from the outside, but we need to power them from the inside. Now, if we have this piece of redstone here, we could accidentally power that by placing a button in the wrong position. So what I like to do is break this piece of redstone here that I placed earlier and replace it with a block, because that still transmits redstone current. Okay, so now break these 2 blocks here and here, bring them 2 blocks down and place 2 redstone there. Now I like to use pressure plates on the inside, so when I walk in I don't have to worry about not closing my door. So I'm going to place some blocks on top of here and 2 pressure plates. Going to use some stone ones because they stand out. So now we want to bring this redstone current just by digging it out all the way over to the other side, just over here. So you want to bring it over to this bit right here, and then place redstone right along here. Now you might have to add in a few repeaters, so every 15 blocks you have to add in a repeater, so right there. So now it's time to throw a block into this hopper dropper T flip-flop system. By simply placing it like that, you can see my pistons extend. Right, like 1 block before they hit my buttons, they will stop. And like I said before, you can always activate this, or like close your door, and then break your buttons. Okay, for the next build, you're going to need 2 sticky pistons, make sure they're sticky, because otherwise this won't work. 2 redstone torches, some redstone dust, some building blocks, 1 jungle button, and 1 redstone block. Okay, so first place 2 pistons like this, so there is a 2 block gap between them and they're facing towards each other. Then place a redstone block on one of the faces of the piston, so it doesn't have to be on both. Don't put them on both, just on one of them, so on the face of the piston. Then place 2 orange concrete blocks just like that, so diagonal one up from these pistons. 2 redstone torches on the side, so the one you place first should extend and the second one should stay retracted. And place 2 pieces of redstone on top of the blocks and a jungle button on that block. And to extract the power out of this T flip-flop system, it just has to come out of the redstone block. Okay, for this next one, we need 4 redstone torches, some redstone dust, some buttons, some building blocks, 2 sticky pistons, and 1 redstone block. Okay, to start, place 2 blocks, 2 blocks, 2 blocks, 1 here and 1 here that are 2 blocks away from each other. Then place a redstone torch on the back of those 2 blocks, so it should be like that from the front. Then place a piece of redstone on both of those blocks like that, and a sticky piston on top of one of the torches, only one of them. Then place either a regular block with a redstone torch beneath it, or a redstone block on the face of that piston. Then place your other piston on top of that block, which should not extend, like that. Come one diagonally up from that redstone block and build 2 blocks like this, and place a redstone torch on both sides, just like that. And then 2 pieces of redstone on top. So now when I press this button, it moves across straight away. Okay, to hook it up to your simple gem door, you're going to need 5 redstone torches, some redstone dust, some stone buttons or some pressure plates, depending on what you want, some concrete, some sticky pistons, and some redstone. Okay, start by going 2 blocks in front of these ones here, these 2 blocks here, like we did before, and digging out a 1, 2, 3, 4, a 4 wide, and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 long hole. That is 3 deep, just like that. Then walk 1 block in, so you're like just standing on this block right here, and the row directly in front of you, 4, break that out, and then in the middle of that row, make a 2x2 square like this, so it's 1 more block down. Then go right to your very edge, and then go to the side like this, and dig out those 3 blocks there, and go back 2 more. So you should have a 1x3 area coming off to the side of your build. Grab out your 2 sticky pistons and place them here and here, so they're facing towards each other, with a redstone block on one of those 2 faces. Then place 2 scaffolding blocks on top of that redstone block and to the side of it. Place 2 redstone dust on top of those scaffolding blocks, and a redstone torch here and here. Okay, so now grab out some redstone and place 2 here, and then bring it going into this 3x1 indented area, and then come 1 over, so you've got this 1 little corner here that hasn't been hooked up. Then place a block, so this redstone is going into that block, and then you want to place a torch on top of this block, another block, a torch on top of that block, another block, and a torch on top of that block. So now you want to hook this up to the redstoning by placing 1 block here, and then moving across like this. Now it needs to go to the middle redstone. You can't go to the side here, because otherwise it won't power this, like I said before. Just place 2 more blocks in front, well behind it, these 2 blocks here, and place redstone on both of them. Then place 2 blocks above them with your buttons on it. So now when I press either one of these buttons, the piston door will activate, and then retract. So let's make it so it's retracted so we can hook up the other side. Like the one before, hooking up the other side is just a matter of placing 2 blocks here, with 2 pieces of redstone on it, and then bringing that redstone right around so it gets linked up with here, this. So let's do that now. So you want to bring it 3 blocks out from this side, then go all the way forward until you've lined up with this edge here, and go 2 blocks in, so you've sort of got this U shape. Now place redstone on all of those blocks, but then right here, where next to this torch, place a repeater. We don't want our redstone mixing in with the torches. This is the only repeater you'll need. Sorry, I missed that. So make it so it goes into that block there. So we want to place 2 blocks there. I'm going to be using a pressure plate. I didn't list that in the materials because you don't have to use a pressure plate. But I said before, I like using a pressure plate on the inside because then I don't have to worry about closing it. You can now see that it fully works and my door is opening and closing. Okay. To build the next T flip-flop system, you're going to need some building blocks, 2 sticky pistons, some redstone dust, some buttons, 2 repeaters, a redstone lamp because that's what I'm going to be powering to show you, and a redstone torch. Now this is the first one which uses a sticky piston and a redstone torch. The next one behind that is going to be slightly different because of the materials. To start, place 2 blocks like this, just like that. Then place 2 redstone dust on top of that. Then place a sticky piston here with a block on top of it. And place 1 more block next to that, with the repeater coming out of the block that is on top of the sticky piston. Now the repeater is going to go into a sticky piston here, which is going to have a block on it. So now if I press this button here, you can see it sends out a 1 tick pulse if I place it on there and press it, which leaves a block there, and then it will retract it. So now you want to press it again, so it leaves the block there, 1 block in front of this sticky piston like that. Then diagonal down from that block, place 1 more with a redstone torch on it, like this. And then place a repeater coming out of that block there. That can go into your redstone lamp or go into your circuit. Okay, for the next one, I'm just going to be changing out a few here because it's built basically the same. You want to grab out a regular piston. I'll clear this inventory. You want to grab out a regular piston, some sand or a falling block of any kind, and a redstone block. So you can also make it so you want to break these 2 here, place a piston with a regular piece of sand on it. You can use red sand or gravel or concrete powder, any of those falling blocks. Then you can break this here and use a redstone block there, which allows you to use a piece of redstone here instead of a repeater if you want. So now if I press this, you can see it all works the same, but it uses a bit less resources here because it's using a regular piston and not a sticky one, but it uses more here. So you can be super resource efficient if you want, and have it like this, where you have the whole system where it's using the redstone torch and the repeater, because that means you're using the minimal amount of resources. Okay, so now it's time to hook this up to your jeb door. But I'm not going to be hooking this exact one up. I'm going to be hooking up this one here, where it uses the sand block and the redstone block. The redstone block is very useful in builds because it means you don't have to have that redstone torch there, which can be a pain when redstoning around this redstone block. Okay, to hook it up to your jeb door, you're going to need some concrete or some building blocks, some redstone dust, one repeater at least. You might need a bit more when you're hooking it up from the inside because of depending on how long your redstone is, so you might need 1 to 2 repeaters, a regular piston, piece of sand, a sticky piston, piece of a redstone block, a jungle button, oh, and 3 redstone torches. I've got 4 here, so just put one of those away. So 3 redstone torches and a button, but I'm also going to be using a pressure plate on the inside, so you can choose between which one you want. Okay, when digging out this hole, you have to be very precise. So this block here, coming out of this one right here, the left pistons, see this one here, you want to come 2 blocks out from there and then go 3 across, 1, 2, 3. And then dig that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in. So you have a 3 by 5 hole that is 1, 2, 3 deep. And then once you're in the very edge of your 3 by 5 hole, you want to dig 1, 2, 3 to your right, then go back 1 and dig another 1, 2, 3, just like that. And then right here you want to dig 2 blocks up, so in the corner here, so you've got this one to the side, so you've got a 2 by 2 hole that is 2 by 2 deep, so you've got a 2 by 2 by 2 hole that the front face is open on. Now that is for our pressure plates. To start off this redstone, you want to place 3 blocks along here, just like that, and place redstone on top of all of those. Then place 1 block here on the left side, going into nothing. Then place a regular piston here with a piece of sand on top of it. Now place a block here with a repeater coming out of it, and a piston here. Now we're actually going to slightly change this, because instead of having the piston going forward, we're going to have it pushing to the side, because you can do that. So we're going to having this piston pushing to the side with a redstone block on it. So now you want to activate using a button by either just placing your floor blocks here or just activating it from the side. So I'm placing my floor blocks, placing a button on one of these, either one, and pressing it. See, my redstone gets extended to the side, the right side, and so it gets pushed right here. And then place 2 building blocks here and here, leading into nothing, and place 2 pieces of redstone on top. Then diagonal from this redstone, so the redstone is going into it, place a block with a redstone torch on it, then 1 more block, redstone torch, and then 1 more block like that. And then bring your redstone so it connects up with here. Now this is a bit tricky because you can't have it so it hooks up to this, because otherwise your door won't work. So what you have to do is place a redstone repeater there, so it's going towards here, so you're not connecting this redstone and placing redstone on all the other blocks like that. So now my piston door has extended, so I'm going to press this button here to retract it. Okay, so now it's time to hook it up from the inside. Now again, you just want to place 2 redstone here, 1 after the block in this back 2 by 2 area, or wherever you want your button or pressure plates to be, and then bring this right along around the sides and stuff to hook up with this redstone here. So you can see that it doesn't reach this block here, so I will have to add 1 more repeater in. So now you can cover this up, and you can cover up these 2 here and place your buttons or pressure plates on top of them. So now when I step on them, my whole system works, and my doors close and open. Okay, to cover this, you need to do it in a very specific way. So you can place your blocks on top of all of these here, but you can't place it right there, because otherwise this sand won't, or the block here won't be able to be pushed up. So you need to break that one, and make sure you've got a 1 block hole there. And then you can just fill up all of this like normal. Next T flip-flop, here we come. Okay, for this next T flip-flop system, which is this tiny one over here, you are going to need 1, a button of any choice, you can use stone, wood, or whatever, some building blocks, 1 redstone torch, 3 pieces of redstone, 2 hoppers, 1 comparator. Now, I've got another oak button, because you can use either one of these, and I'm going to be using a piston to show you that it works. Okay, to start by placing a block directly in front of you and place a hopper going into that block. And break that block, place a hopper going back into that hopper. So you've got this sort of hopper chain that's going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Then to either side of this first hopper here, diagonally up, place a block, like that. Then on the back of that block, place a redstone torch, and then place 2 pieces of redstone on top of these hoppers. Then open the front hopper and place a piece of redstone in that, or any sort of block in that hopper. Once you have done this, you can place a block on the back of this block which has a redstone torch on. Then place a comparator coming out of any side of these hoppers. So I'm going to have it coming out of there, and going into a piston. So right now my T flip-flop is turned off, but when I flick this, you can see it will turn on. So now it's time to hook that up to a redstone door. Let's go do that. Start by grabbing out some buttons, some building blocks, 4 redstone torches, some redstone dust, 2 hoppers, one comparator, and a few repeaters. Go to this very edge piston here on your right and dig out 4 blocks that are 2 away. So you go to here, you dig out 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, just like that. And then you want to dig out 6 more going back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you have a 4x6 hole that is 3 deep. And walk straight forward and dig out 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you want to grab out your building blocks and come right down into this hole here. Then place 1 building block here and place a hopper going into that building block. Then break that building block and place another hopper going back into that hopper. Then if you stand on top of this hopper, place another block like that with a redstone torch on it. Then place 2 pieces of redstone dust on top of your hoppers and place an item in one of your hoppers by opening it and placing it. Now place a block on top of this piece of redstone here and 1 more block to the side here. Place 2 pieces of redstone there. Now grab out a comparator and place it here in front of this hopper so it instantly gets turned on. Then place it going into a repeater on a 4 ticks delay. So now come over here with your redstone dust, and on the block your repeater is going into, place a piece of redstone dust, and then going to your left, place 1 more piece. Then going forward, place another one, just like that. Then place a repeater going to the right, like this, and then place a block in front of that repeater with a torch on it, a redstone torch. Then place a block on top of that redstone torch, and then another redstone torch, and then a block on that one, another redstone torch, and the final block, like that. Then come 1, 2 over from this redstone torch, going from the front to your left, and then come 1 block in, and then place redstone on all of those blocks like this. So now, if you place 2 blocks on top of here and press this button, the door will open, and when you press it again, your door will close, and then when you press it again, it will open. Okay, to hook up the pressure plates or your button from the inside, you want to come to this redstone here and count 2 blocks away. 1, 2. My second block, you want to dig 2 blocks down like this and place 2 pieces of redstone there. Then bring this redstone around. You can just by following it like a outline around until you meet with these pieces of redstone here. And then you want to hook that around, place redstone on all of these blocks so it meets with this here. Now you want to count 15 blocks from this very edge piece of redstone. 1, 2, 13, 14, 15. And on that 15th block there, place a repeater. Then you can cover this up with sandstone, remembering where your pressure plates are, or your buttons, or if you want you can cover the 2 ones up where your pressure plates are or your buttons with a special block, so you know where they are for later. Okay, so now we can cover that up, then we can go around and either place our buttons or pressure plates on top of here. So now when I step on here, it'll also open and close the door, depending on what state it was in originally. Okay, it's time to move on to the next the next T flip-flop system. You're going to need 2 sticky pistons, 1 observer, 1 redstone block, something to power, I'm going to be using a redstone lamp, some scaffolding blocks, and a button of any type. Okay, start by placing a scaffolding block here with a button on it, then to the side place a sticky piston with an observer on it, so the red dot is facing into the sky, like that. Then directly above that place another sticky piston with a redstone block on it. Then press this button so the redstone block extends, and then place a redstone lamp next to that redstone block, or whatever you're going to be powering, and then you have your full T flip-flop system, just like that. Okay, our next one uses exactly the same materials, and you want to start off with, again, a button with a block with another sticky piston like this. Then place an observer, so the red dot is coming like away from this piston, and so this flat bit of the triangle here is directly next to the piston here, like that. And then come one block away, place a block there, place a piston with a redstone block on it, and then place a redstone lamp one block away like that. Then you can break that there. So you should have something that looks like this. So when you press this button here, it fully activates all of this and it will turn the redstone lamp on, and it will turn it off. Okay, so it's now time to hook this one up to the jeb door. I'm going to be hooking this one up because it is smaller and more convenient for the jeb door. Start by coming 2 blocks out from these blocks here, the blocks that haven't been extended, and come one to the side so it's the middle here, and then dig 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like backwards, like down there, and then make sure that's 2 wide and 3 deep. So it's a 6x2 hole that is 3 deep. Then go to the very back, right here in the back corner, and then dig 1, 2, 3 more to the side. Make sure that's 2 deep, 2 wide as well, and it's 3 deep. Okay, once you have dug out that hole, you want to grab out 2 sticky pistons, 1 observer, 1 redstone block, some building scaffolding blocks, some redstone dust, and 3 redstone torches. Start by placing 2 building blocks here and here. Then place a sticky piston coming out of your, make sure it's your left side, so the side furthest away from that edge there, and then place an observer, so the like the dot is facing towards the back wall. So we're basically building out a flip-flop system. But here, right here, we need to be careful because we don't want to place it here so the redstone gets straight put into the wall. We want to rotate our piston around so it gets pushed this way. So it should be like that, and then it gets pushed that way. So this redstone block here will get pushed over to there. So we want to place a redstone here going into a block. So now place a piece of redstone torch on top of that block with another block on top of it, redstone torch, block on top of it, redstone torch, and finally one more block on top of it. Then place 1, 2, 3 pieces of like 3 blocks going to the side like that. Place a repeater coming out of the block with the redstone torch is going into, then 2 more pieces of redstone, just like that. So now, if you place 2 pieces of redstone here, place 2 blocks on top. Oh, you'll also need a button, because otherwise you can't activate it. Put a button out, and activate this. You can see the piston gets closed, and opened. Okay, to hook it up from the inside, you want to come to the back here, and break out these blocks here, and place 2 redstone there. Then you want to bring this redstone around. You can bring it around in any way. You could go under here, under these pistons, but I'm just going to simply go around here because it's nice and easy to see. And now you want to go to the very edge here and count 15. 1, 2, 13, 14, 15. And on the 15th one, like all the other ones, place a repeater like the ones that I said earlier in the video. Then you can cover this up using some sandstone blocks, except for the 2 that you want your pressure plate to be on. So now you've got these. You want to place a 2 on top of there. Now you don't have to use a pressure plate, you can use a button. So now when I step on that, the whole system works very easily, and I can clearly just walk through there now. It's time to move on to the next one, which is the Composter T flip-flop. You're going to need some scaffolding, some buttons, 1 button, 1 redstone torch, 2 sticky pistons, either a composter or a cauldron, something you're going to power, so I'm just going to have a redstone lamp to show you, 1 redstone comparator, and if you're using your composter, you're going to have to fill your composter up with a potato, with some potatoes or something like that, but if you're using the cauldron, you have to fill it up with water. So to start this, place a scaffolding block with a redstone torch on it, and then place a button on that torch. That's where your redstone current is going to be going into. Then place a piston next to it like that, and then a piston above the redstone torch. So it'll go straight across like that. Then place a composter on the face of this piston, then fill it up right to the brim. So it gets that white, oh, whoops, got a bit too high. So it gets that white stuff on it like that. And then place a comparator coming out of that composter there, going into your power source or a repeater or a redstone lamp. Okay, now with a cauldron, it's exactly the same thing. You need to place it there, fill it up with water, just like that, so you get a redstone output. And then it works exactly the same. Okay, it's now time to hook this up to our jeb door. Okay, starting 2 blocks away from this piston here, like 2 blocks, so it goes 1, 2. In the middle, dig 3 down on 2 blocks and make that 6 long and 2 wide. So it's a 6x2 hole that is 3 deep. Then on the very edge here, going to your right, make a 2x2 hole that is also 3 deep. Okay, so for this build, you're going to need some concrete blocks, 3 redstone torches, 2 sticky pistons, a redstone comparator, a composter, a stone button, or like bottom of any sort, and some redstone dust. Oh, you also need some potatoes to fill up your composter. Some baked potatoes. Okay, so to start, you want to come to your front and place 2 blocks here, then place 2 pieces of redstone on top, just like this. On the left side, come 1 block down, and then dig a 1 block hole further down, so you have sort of like a staircase that's 3 down. Then leave the block directly in front of that, but the one in front of that one, break a hole down like this and place a sticky piston facing into the sky, so it's at the ground level. Then place a redstone torch on top of this block here, and then a piston on top of that redstone torch there. So we should have something that looks like that. A bit hard to get a view of that. Then place a composter on the face of this piston and then fill it right up to the top, just like that. And then coming to the side, place a block there with a comparator coming out, then 1 more block with a piece of redstone going into another block. Now on top of that block, place a redstone torch, then place 1 more block and a redstone torch on top of that. And then finally the last block. And then place a piece of redstone dust on top of that. Then connect it to the middle of your jeb door, like this, and your jeb door should instantly activate. Then place 2 ground blocks on top of these pieces of redstone here and place a button on both of them. Or a pressure plate, or that's just where your buttons are gonna be. So now if you press that button, your door will open. You press it again, your door will close. Now you can leave one of those buttons or break both of them and then add them back later. But now it's time to hook up some pressure plates from this back side here. Okay, to do this, you want to come 1 block back. You want to go from here, from this edge here, where the composter is on the back of your door. You want to come 1 block back and break 2 down. So you have a 2x1 hole. No, a 2x1 hole that is 2 down. That is in line with the middle of this, because it's a 2 block middle. Then place 2 pieces of redstone in this, and then wrap this right around, like on all the other doors. So now that will fully connect up, and I can fill all of this back in, except for the 2 that my pressure plates are going to be on, because I need to remember where those are. So now if I place them back now there, grab out my pressure plates or buttons or whatever you're using, place them on there and step on them, my door will open. Step on them again, my door will close. We have a fully working T flip-flop system connected to your jeb door. Okay, let's move on to the very last T flip-flop. For this build, you're going to need a stone button, 1 piece of building blocks. You might need a bit more for like scaffolding and double check. 2 redstone torches, 1 repeater, 1 dropper, 1 hopper, 2 pieces of redstone, 1 to just throw into the hopper, 1 redstone comparator, and 1 redstone lamp. That's what I'm going to be using to power it. You don't have to have the redstone lamp though. Okay, start by placing a piece of orange concrete or your building block with a button on it, and on the back of that block, place a redstone torch like that. Then come around to the back and place a repeater coming out of that redstone torch, going to your right, going into a block with a redstone torch on top of it. Then place a dropper coming out to the side of this button here with a hopper going back into it like this, and then throw an item into there, so 1 redstone dust. Well, no, you can't throw it in because it's locked, so you have to actually put it in like that. Okay, for our final thing, we just have to place a redstone here, a comparator coming out of that hopper, going into a redstone lamp. So when I press this button, you see the redstone lamp instantly gets turned off, and when I press it again, it gets turned on. So that's a really tiny T flip-flop system, and now we're going to hook that up to our jeb door. Okay, to build this, to hook this up to your jeb door, you're going to need 5 redstone torches, 2 repeaters, 1 comparator, 1 redstone dust, some redstone dust, not 1, you'll need a bit more, 1 hopper, 1 dropper, and some building blocks. Okay, start by coming to these blocks here that are just sitting here between our pistons. When the piston is retracted, and dig from there 1, 2, 3 over. So you've got 1, 2, 3. You've got 3 there, the corners here. And then dig that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like forward. So you have 2 blocks back is you dig 3 across, then you dig 6 forward. So you've got a 3 by 6 rectangle that is 2 deep and 2 blocks away from this here. Now once you've done that, go to your very edge corner here. So this is where your corner would be now. Then move to the side one and dig out those 3 blocks. Make sure it is your right. So you go to the right corner, move to the right once, dig out those 3 blocks, and move back and dig out those 3 blocks. So you should have a shape that looks like that from the sides, and the front and the back. It's kind of like an L shape, but this bit is kind of stubby. Okay, let's get on with the tutorial. To start, place 2 blocks here and here, leaving this one here without a block. Place 2 pieces of redstone on those blocks with a redstone torch here, just like that. Then place a repeater going into nothing, then place a block in front of that repeater with a redstone torch on top of it, and it should instantly be powered off. Then place a dropper coming out of sort of this, so the face is facing towards the back wall. Then place a hopper going back into the face of that dropper. Then place any block, or throw any block into that hopper there. Now you actually have to place it in there, you can't just throw it because the hopper is locked at this moment in time. And then place a piece of redstone on top of that with a comparator coming out of it. Then place a repeater going into a piece of redstone, which then curves over to the side and goes into a block with a redstone torch on it. Then place a block with a redstone torch on top of that, and one more, like this. One more block with a redstone torch. Then place 1 block and come 2 to the side like this, 1, 2, and then connect it up to there. And place 3 redstone dust along there. So here, if I cover this up and grab out a button of some sort or a power source, and place it here and press my button, you can see my piston extends and retracts, just like that. So now it's time to hook up some pressure plates on the other side. Okay, to hook it up to the back with some pressure plates, come to the very edge corner here, so you're aligned with here, and come 1 more block back, and break a 2x1 hole that is 2 deep, like this. Place a redstone at the bottom of that, like that. Then bring it around, going to your right side from the back, and connect it up with your redstoning at the front. Then add in some repeaters. So every 15 redstone you have to add in 1 repeater. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I have to add 1 right there. Now you can cover this back up, and then place your 2 pressure plates here and here, or your buttons, or whatever type of power source you want. Okay, we have now built and connected our final T flip-flop system, and it works completely fine, and actually it's quite a smooth opening sequence because of this beautiful jeb door. Now that because that was a final T flip-flop system, that's going to be the end of this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed learning how to build and learning all about T flip-flop systems. Please leave a like, comment, and remember to subscribe if you're new. I'd really appreciate the support. We're on our way to 1.1 thousand. So, I will see you guys later. Peace. Oh, and remember, stay carbonated.